The line between good and evil is permeable, and almost anyone can be induced to cross it when pressured by situational forces. That human behavior is more influenced by things outside of us than inside. The situation is the external environment. The inner environment is genes, moral history, religious training. Academic success depends on research and publications. A good cult delivers on its promises. A good cult nourishes the needs of its members, has transparency and integrity, and creates provisions for challenging its leadership openly. A good cult expands the freedoms and well-being of its members rather than limits them. Evil is knowing better, but willingly doing worse. What troubles me is the internet and the electronic technology revolution. Shyness is fueled in part by so many people spending huge amounts of time alone, isolated on email, in chat rooms, which reduces their face-to-face contact with other people. Being hurt personally triggered a curiosity about how such beliefs are formed. Many cults start off with high ideals that get corrupted by leaders or their board of advisors who become power, hungry, and dominate and control members' lives. No group with high ideals starts off as a cult. They become one when their errant ways are exposed. Bullies are often people who are shy and can't make friends easily. So, as the theme of the movie, A Bronx Tale tells us, it is better to be feared if you can't be loved. Human behavior is incredibly pliable, plastic. Bullies may be the perpetrators of evil, but it is the evil of passivity of all those who know what is happening and never intervene that perpetuates such abuse. The level of shyness has gone up dramatically in the last decade. I think shyness is an index of social pathology rather than a pathology of the individual. My early childhood prepared me to be a social psychologist. I grew up in a South Bronx ghetto in a very poor family. From Sicilian origin, I was the first person in my family to complete high school, let alone go to college. One can't live mindfully without being enmeshed in psychological processes that are around us. At North Hollywood High School, I was shunned by everyone. I would sit down in the cafeteria, and students would get up from the table and walk away. They thought I was from the mafia. Careers in virtually all academic disciplines are fostered by being a superstar who knows more about one subject than anyone else in the world. Boys are 30% more likely than girls to drop out of school. In Canada, 5 boys drop out for every 3 girls. Girls outperform boys now at every level, from elementary school to graduate school. I'm saying to be a hero means you step across the line and are willing to make a sacrifice. So, heroes always are making a sacrifice. Heroes always take a risk. Heroes always deviant. Heroes always doing something that most people don't, and we want to change. I want to democratize heroism, to say any of us can be a hero. Prejudice and discrimination have always been a big part of my life. When I was 6, I got beat up and called Dirty Jew Boy because they thought I looked Jewish. What happens when good people are put into an evil place? Do they triumph, or does the situation dominate their past history and morality? Situational variables can exert powerful influences over human behavior, more so that we recognize or acknowledge. There are times when external circumstances can overwhelm us, and we do things we never thought. If you're not aware that this can happen, you can be seduced by evil. We need inoculations against our own potential for evil. We have to acknowledge it. Then we can change it. Heroes are those who can somehow resist the power of the situation and act out of noble motives, or behave in ways that do not demean others when they easily can. Ideas for my first experiments in human aggression came from discussions we had in a research seminar about William Golding's Lord of the Flies. I have been primarily interested in how and why ordinary people do unusual things, things that seem alien to their natures. Why do good people sometimes act evil? Why do smart people sometimes do dumb or irrational things? Time perspective is one of the most powerful influences on all of human behavior. We're trying to show how people become biased to being exclusively past, present, or future-oriented. There are no limits to what I would do to make my classes exciting, interesting, unpredictable. I was discriminated against because I was Jewish, Italian, Black, and Puerto Rican. But maybe the worst prejudice I experienced was against the poor. I grew up on welfare and often had to move in the middle of the night because we couldn't pay the rent. I started studying shyness in adults in 1972. Shyness operates at so many different levels. Out of that research came the Stanford Shyness Clinic in 1977. Most of the evil of the world comes about not out of evil motives, but somebody saying, "Get with the program, be a team player." This is what we saw at Enron. This is what we saw at Enron. This is what we saw in the Nixon administration with their scandal. The Stanford Prison Experiment came out of class exercises in which I encouraged students to understand the dynamics of prison life. After doing psychology for half a century, my passion for all of it is greater than ever.